So hi and welcome to another video, and today I'm going to show you how to take the skates off mice. We're going to use a few different methods here to show you which one the best way to do this is with the least amount of damage to your skates. Now if you're not familiar with this channel, it gives you the data and statistics to give you the competitive edge over your gamers, so make sure you like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss any of these videos. So you're the first ones to get this information. So we're using a few tools here, say, to compare these across 3 brand new Death Adder Essentials. So they're identical. We're going to be using a knife. We're going to be using a splunger, which is a plastic tool. And we're using Zippo lighter fluid, and we're going to be using a hairdryer. At the end of this also I'll show you about heat, and whether you should be using a hairdryer or not. I know a few people have got controversial ideas about this. I'm going to show you the temperatures of this and whether it damages the mice. So we've got a lot to get through. Let me know in the comments if you want to say anything else in these videos. So first we're going to use the knife. We're going to use this on each one. I'm going to take off the top right skate. So on this one we're just using no hairdryer, no Zippo lighter fluid. We're just going to peel it off manually, and this is what it does. As you can see, it curls up, and there's also some slight damage to the skate. Now we're going to use a splunger. Again, comes off slightly better, a bit flatter, no damage. And again on the bottom we use the same trick. A little bit of force required. On some skates like Zowie especially, they will cause dents. Again, it curls up, probably from the pull at the end. So overall, not the best technique. Quite a lot of curling on the skates here, which we'll try and fix later on. But you get the idea of which techniques you can use. Whether you've got tools around to do it is another question. Bit of cat focus. Eee. So now for the hairdryer, and I generally can't hold a lot of heat on my fingers. I can feel it as soon as it starts to burn them. And you'll see here there's no damage, but a lot of people have been holding these on. A lot of people have been posting some messages saying that this damages it, which they are right in some sense. But I think you need to understand, if you're using a blowtorch or a hairdryer here, how much heat you're applying and also how close it is. So you can see I didn't use too much heat there. I'm now going to be taking it off with a knife again. Slightly less curl this time on that one. A little bit more damage to the skate. You can see some little bumps in it. Not ideal. No damage to the plate. Again, hairdrying the top left this time. No damage to the mouse. Use the splunger, and this one does things straight off, no problem. This is probably nice and smooth, no curl to the skate. Ideal. Now the rear one. Use a bit more heat across the whole pad just to melt the glue. Again, we're using quite a bit of heat. This is on full heat, this, by the way, it's Bubblist. It's not my hairdryer, I've got no hair, this is my missus's. I don't blow dry my beard. And again, fairly easy to get off, a little bit of pressure at the end when the glue tries to reset here. A little bit of curling, but not any damage, no damage here to the skate. Just in that top right hand corner where the knife was used, you can see it. And again, the mouse here, no damage to the mouse. Next one, Zippo lighter fluid. Someone gave me this tip, can't remember your name, but it's a good tip. And you can use this, and what it does evaporate over time, but it seems to melt the glue. Again, we're going to use the knife. Now, if I find it's a little bit sticky, sometimes I need to put some more inside the skate here to try and melt the glue a little bit. You can see it's come off okay with the knife. A few dead ripples again in the skate. Definitely don't use a knife. Using the splunger seems to be the best idea that I've found. Open to some other ones though. I'll put a link in the description to all the tools and all the things I've used. You can buy some of these if you want. A little bit of curling on the skate though this time. The skate starts to get a little bit greasy. You can see the grease already building up on the label here of the Death Adder as well. So we'll see how that disappears over time. Still a little bit of glue residue as well, but we'll take a closer look at that as well. Now, Logitech ones tend to split as well doing this, so this is not guaranteed for every skate. Each mouse is different, each set of skates is different, and you can still damage them even with all these methods. So my advice is if you're taking the skates off, change them. This is one we used with a knife. You can see a little bit of glue still on the mouse here. Overall not too bad, no damage to the plates. This one with the hairdryer probably has the least amount of glue on it. No damage again due to heat because I don't hold it on there too long. We'll do a bit more testing in a bit, don't worry about that. We'll show you the differences in heat. And then this is the one with the lighter fluid, a little bit of staining on the label. And a little bit of glue still on the mouse here. Then I'm going to put them all back on and see what they look like without any tweaks. And I'll show you how to fix some of these if you're having some problems because they don't generally lie flat again. Thicker PTFE like Hyperglides or Corepads or Tigers do generally hold their shape a little bit better when they come off, but again, it really does depend on the mouse and the skates. My advice again is just to change them. You can see here they're on, there's a few bumps on them, you can see the skates are not quite fitting right. It's certainly going to cause a bit of drag on your pad, so I'll have to come back and fix that. Now going to the one that was taken off with the hairdryer, I'll put these back on. My cat's still wandering around here. She's like, feed me, man. I'll protect the mice, they will not escape. Again, you can see in the top right hand corner where the ripple is from the knife. Slightly better lay down at the moment, they're not as lifting up as the ones that were just taken off with the knife. It's a little bit curling on the edges though, so again, we'll have to try and fix that. Now onto the lighter fluid ones. Let's see, these ones lie flat again, bumps from the knife. A little bit of curling on the bottoms, very minor, but it's still there. Still not ideally lying flat, they're not bad. These are probably lying the flattest off the bat here. Now they're all together. So now you can see they're lifting up. A little bit of a closer shot here on the one that was used with the hairdryer. So one of the tips I use is reapply heat. Again, be very careful how much heat you apply. I don't apply too much to keep my hands near it as well. You can see my fingers there just to feel the temperature. And then you can basically push it back down once you've heated up, and this will allow it to lie flat. Now this can be temporary, sometimes it will peel back up later on, depends on how much glue there is. Majority of the time I found it stays flat. So the other tip is to use some double-sided tape. I use M3 tape. This can add a little bit of extra height to the skate, so sometimes you can go back and pick the glue off. I'm not going to do that here because it's too much hassle. But if you're finding you do need to bring them down a little bit in height, it adds about 0.14 millimeters to the skate, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. In terms of some mice, it can affect the LOD, so just be careful. So here we've got some double-sided tape flat on the rim, which still definitely secure, and this M3 tape is ridiculously good for pulling them down. This is a trick that I normally use just because I know it's reliable. It takes a little bit more effort. You have to cut the skate out against the M3 tape. I can't actually get this M3 tape anywhere else. It also attracts every bit of hair that's possible to stick to, as you can see. This stuff is beastly. Got to be careful also that you don't snip the skates when you do this. And once you complete this, we're going to check out heat, which I know a few people are going to be interested in. See if we can melt a mouse, whether I'll melt my fingers first. Maybe some of you have got asbestos hands. I certainly don't. My hands are quite sensitive to it. That's why that burn is on my thumb. That's my soldering iron. That was painful. There's the new skate with some new tape. You probably have to crowbar this back off once you've done this. This M3 tape is sticky as anything. And you can see now again, it now lies flat. Granted, it's got a few dimps in it from the knife, otherwise this would have been okay. So in the future, splungers only, or some kind of plastic tool to pull them off. This is the one that was just pulled off on its own, without any heat applied at first. And again, you can use a hairdryer here just to push them back down if you have this problem. This one's the most likeliest to curl back up. This black PTFE seems to be more vulnerable to that. You can see I could touch it straight away as well. And again, now it lies flat. Just reheats the glue. Makes it a bit more supple. Happy days. So here's a heat thermometer. We're going to test the current heat of the mouse around 41 degrees. Got a stopwatch to show you real time here to show how long I'm heating it up for. You can see I'm 33 degrees. Don't know if that's good or bad. And let's time it. But this time I'm putting it right up to the mouse foot. I'll also show you the temperature of the hairdryer later on, so you get an idea of what that temperature output is. I'm just going to hold it around 20 seconds. This is a lot longer than I would normally hold it there for, especially stitched straight on it. I'd normally move it side to side, and I'd probably hold it slightly more off. I'd probably hold it for around 10 seconds to be fair, maybe 15 tops. We can see here it's twice the heat now. It's about 80 odd degrees there. It starts to cool already. There's a little bit of shining at the top. You can see that because it's obviously gone too hot. It's starting to sweat the plastic. You can see it there just on the side as well of the mouse where it's starting to do it. That's too much heat. You don't want to be going for 20 seconds there. My hands also had to give up. It was that hot. Again, I'm holding it further down the mouse here because it's burning my fingers. That's probably enough for me already. About 10 seconds. Still going, 16 seconds. This is on full direct heat. Let's see if we can get it to melt. You can see damage to the label here on the death adder. It's cooled down a little bit because it took a bit longer, and we're at 114 degrees there. That is way, way too much heat for this. You do not want to get that hot. As you can see, the damage. Looking under the label, it's starting to get a little bit milky, but the mouse is still pretty solid. It's not gone wobbly or anything like that. It's okay. The milking's a bit of a problem, but it's not absolutely curled in like some people have done, where it's melted away into the plastic. It's still at 70 odd degrees here. It's still cooling down, even though I've peeled the label off. Now we're going for wave 3 here. Now I'm taking my hands away from it here because it's too hot for me to hold. This is going to get it baking hot. This is probably going to be in the hundreds. Not in the hundreds, but it's going to be hot. This is what you don't want to do here. Do not do this. Any of these heat tests here, don't do this to your mouse. So 30 seconds of heat, full heat. I'm giving it a tap with the sponge there to make sure it's not too hot. It's not going to just crumble when I touch it. But again, around 100 and something degrees here, 110, not as hot as expected, but still way too hot. Obviously can't get it much hotter than that. You can see even more shining on the mouse where the heat started to do it. But the mouse itself is still pretty sturdy. There's a little bit of a ripple on the top left button I can see when you put it down. It's only very slight, but that was way too much heat, so it's starting to go. But I don't know how long people are holding it on there for it to melt, because this death adder is pretty good. It's quite heat resistant. You can see a little mark on the top of the left button. The output here is around 150 degrees C from the hairdryer. So, hope you like this video, something a little bit different. Hopefully this helps you sort your skates out. My recommendation would be lighter fluid and a plastic sponger. That's the safest bet. So have a good day. Catch you later. Bye bye.